Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video with the recent Universe 6 Easy Ace. It's time to test out the whole category against one of the stronger enemies on Global, at least for now, before the 9th anniversary, in Shadow Dragon Omega. Now for a starting rotation, this is pretty good. We've already got Strength Kale with another Caulifla unit, so we are going to do this. I don't think we need to use an item just yet, so I'm liking this as the first rotation. And I mean, I've been saying this since the Universe 6 Easy Ace dropped. I mean, especially with Kefla. I mean, to start with, Kefla is ridiculously good. No super attack in slot 1, which is great. It means she can stack, get herself some extra defense to go with that guard. I mean, a lot of units on this team stack. You know, you have Kale, well, Strength Kale specifically, LR Kale and Caulifla, Tech Caulifla, and Kefla. Kefla, not so much. She doesn't really need it because she stacks up by 50%. And then she's transforming along the way anyway. Is it nice to get over a 20 mil attack stat? 100%. But it's not like she needs it. But I'm definitely not going to turn it down. And of course, Omega disables dodge in this first phase, so a lot of units lose out on dodge here as well. Again, Strength Kefla, you know, I mean, as long as we get the orbs, but again, doesn't really matter here. LR Kale Caulifla can't dodge here. Caulifla, that's a big part of her kit, can't dodge here. Vados, big part of her kit, 70% chance to dodge, she can't do that here. A lot of units lose out on their dodge on this first phase, I won't lie. Funny enough, right now, if we could dodge, Tech Caulifla would be able to. Do I use an item here? I mean, it's not often. Omega doesn't super attack in the first turn, which makes me feel like he's definitely going to super attack here. While we're here, Caulifla's definitely getting rotated off. Even though there's a lot of attacks in slot 3, she's definitely getting rotated off. Do I rotate her off? Do I like try and keep her in and around rotation and just let her stack for the time being? Actually, maybe I'll do that instead. In fact, I'm gonna use a Whis to be safe. It's mainly because of Caulifla, because I haven't actually used her since actually trying her out. I haven't actually used her yet. I mean, at least we are getting that support from Vados, so you know, Tech Caulifla, Dokkan, Kale, we're getting a little bit extra as well. Double stack, we'll take that. But speaking of Dokkan Kale, she's probably at least my one because mine's at 55%. I'll take the triple. That is because she is next to a Kale unit. But yeah, mine's at 55%. So taking Strength Kefla into Red Zone Zamasu, which I still think from what I've at least seen as well to go with it, I still believe she'll do really well there, mainly because of the type advantage against Zamasu's second phase and how much damage she does quickly while stacking the crits. It's crazy. Defensively, I think normals, she's been fine from what I can remember. Second phase wise, things could probably start to get a little bit techie, but I think normals again, she's still fine for the most part. It's mainly getting caught on a super attack, which isn't a problem. But Dokkan Kale, especially again, mine having no dupes, is probably the reason why it's been such a struggle. Because before she transforms, I mean, she's decent, but she doesn't have guard, she doesn't anything like that. The AoEs, she needs to super attack first. There isn't really many slot 1 units that can go with Strength Kefla. And as I said, the main thing with the AoEs, because Kale hasn't transformed yet, she's being caught very easily, and is one of the big reasons why I keep dying. Again, not having dupes is not my fault, but you need her transformed. Like, you need her transformed. I think I'm going to leave it like this. I mean, I really want Kefla to stay here, but I'm like, Kale's got her guard. LRK and Caulifla need to stack up as much as possible. Kefla doesn't really. You know, getting the defense on Kale and Caulifla is more important. And again, Kefla just stacks up so quickly, especially if you can get her the orb she needs to get the built-in additional. And if the dupe system activates as well, she doesn't really need it. Again, I definitely wouldn't turn down the extra damage, but I think it's probably better if we keep it like this, just to make sure Kale keeps her guard. And so she can stack up as much as possible as well, but mainly so she keeps it. And so Kaylee Cleaver can build up their attack and defense as well. And then I'll probably put Kefla on the next rotation. I'll probably rotate Caulifla. Just because she's mainly here to dodge. That is literally the main reason why she's here. I mean, that is literally a big part of her kit, is to purely just dodge. And obviously she can't do that right now. And I don't really want to remove all that damage off a rotation that Kefla can offer. 14 mil, just like that. And again, she still needs to transform one more time. And she hasn't even stacked hardly at all. 15 mil, just like that. If the potential system pops, again, she's getting towards 16 mil. Just like that. And she did. Actually, she jumped up to 16 mil. She literally went up by like 100, no, not 100k. She literally went up by a mil. A whole million. Just like that. Right, we're definitely popping these. Because now Dokkan Fast Scale has a guard, both of them do. Do we have the Whis active still? No, that was 2 turns ago. And this is another thing with Kefla, with the categories she goes on. Like, don't get me wrong, she goes on some good categories, but they're lacking in areas. You know, it's not like, you know, Power Beyond of Super Saiyan's good, but she technically doesn't really fit on that category. She doesn't fit in. I mean, especially for how many good units are on there. Like a lot of the categories where you wanna, you know, you wanna at least next to like another Universe 6 unit, mainly like a KO Caulifla or both, to get some links active. There isn't really any slot 1 units to go with her, which is the annoying thing. Do I use an item? Do I use an item? She is guarding right now, which is good, but do I use an item? Do I? I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. We have almost full health, and the friend Kale is rainbowed, and she has our guard. That was the one thing I was worried of. This is going to do some damage, but we should be good. Actually, it didn't do any. Okay, never mind. This is what I mean. Pre-transformation, we would have took a ton of damage. A ton. And obviously, having no guard or anything like that to help her against Fusion Zamasu's AoEs in the beginning, so that's 500k off the bat, even before you factor in the 500k normals, how much you can do on a super. Hasn't transformed yet, so she's taken a lot of damage. As I said, she's been the downfall of a lot of my strength Kefla runs, which is why I haven't done a video on it yet. But you know, Universe 6 as a whole, as I said, it's a decent category now. Is it amazing? No. Is it best category in the game? No. It's just, it's had such a major buff that it's now runnable. It's now competitive. More so on global, because by the time JP gets all of these EZAs, I mean, the 9th anniversary content is very difficult. So I don't think the category would have a good time on JP. That still doesn't change the fact that it's much more competitive and it now is technically runnable. But it's going to be more apparent on global just because obviously we don't have that kind of ridiculously insane content just yet. Which this year will no longer be an issue because of course the sync up is coming. This is also a very good rotation. Hyper Vital Kale and Caulifla. Kale's up to almost 600k defense. Kale and Caulifla themselves almost on 500k. Vados can now dodge. That 70% chance to dodge can now kick in, so hopefully it does. I mean, I have gone a lot of dodge on her. 12 dodge. Even KO, I mean, I've gone full additional so she can stack up as much as possible. And then the support, giving all of these guys a bit extra. So, I mean, both group attacks are in slot 1, so we'll see how this plays out. Trying to leave some orbs there for Kefla to pick up so she can get her guaranteed additional. Actually, now that she's going to transform again, she gets 2 guaranteed additionals. That's fine. Vados, she's going to do the thing. She didn't do the thing and she took 253k. Alright, Vados, team talk, team talk. This second group attack, I'm going to need you to dodge. You've got 70% chance to dodge and... I mean, technically a separate chance. I was going to say and then some, but they don't add on. This should be fine. Guard after a double stack. Yeah, Vados, you need to dodge. If you don't dodge, we're dead. So I'm gonna need you. Ken and Caulifla are doing it. Go. Go. We're very close to being dead, but we're not dead just yet, which is the important part. Good damage from these two and a crit. I'll take that. let's not forget as well, there are still, at least on global anyway, I mean, JP needs Kefla, Caulifla, Strength Kale, and Vados. Global, we're still waiting on 2 more Easy Ace to come as well. Because we are still waiting for the mono type Easy Ace to come out, which will introduce the Easy A hit. But mainly, the Strength Kaba. We don't even have them yet, and he can slot very nicely onto this team as well. Good thing is, Caulifla can now dodge. But I don't want to depend on it, especially in the final phase where she can have tap disadvantage and there's like 2-3 AoEs at all times. I am going to pop a Whis just because the group attack is bang on slot 1. And yeah, I don't really want to be taking the risk just in case someone decides they don't want to dodge. So guaranteed 2 additionals with Kefla. We've got the Whis covering us. Hopefully Caulifla dodges. That's another reason why I slid Kale into slot 1. Type advantage guard and a Whis. This will do nothing. You can actually dodge 50%. Oh, that's what I wanted. I mean, if you don't want to do no supers, I was going to say, if you don't want to do any supers, I don't mind that, because then Kefla gets to get a couple of supers off. She's only going to get 1, but I mean, 1's better than nothing. 18 mil, just like that, man. He stacks up so fast. It's so stupid. And a big 11 mil crit. We are now out of items, though. So we got very unfortunate with the dodging situation. Okay. Caulifla's coming around next rotation, so actually rotating Kale and Caulifla off isn't actually too bad. Kale's up to 693k defense with guard and a Whis active, which is good. My Kale still needs to be hit a couple times, and she needs to super. It's one of them things, because if he super attacks in slot 1, techie. If he doesn't, cool, we can super attack before the group attack. Put him in slot 2 or put her in slot 2, she still has to contend with a group attack, but then again, there might be a super attack in slot 1. But I think this is going to have to be the way we play it. I mean, we're getting a little bit of health back with same type key spheres, not too much. He didn't super attack in slot 1, so put in Dokkan Fest KO. It's my one. If it was the friend one, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Putting her in slot 1 would have been the shout. But we don't have no scouter ability, nothing with this team, so what can you do? It's a game of chance. It's a game of chance. You're fine. Actually, no, she's fine because, yeah, the Whis. But one thing this video is showing, which I've been saying since all of these Easy A's dropped, is Universe 6 is now a competitive category. It's runnable. It's not new best category in the game or anything, but it's got something about it. If Dokkan decide to ever drop, you know, especially with Easy A 2 or Super Easy A, however you want to call it, comes out, Kale and Caulifla get like a second Easy A. I don't know how they're going to handle it. I don't know if every unit is going to get one eventually, just to keep units, you know, forever, you know, relevant in the game at some point. Or if only a handful are going to get chosen. But Kale and Caulifla could get a second Easy A. The 2 new ones that we just got a couple years down the line could get new Easy A's, which is kind of mad to think past the 10th anniversary. Imagine being like, this is the 20th anniversary of Dokkan. Insane. You know, new units that actually drop, new Dokkan Fest, things like that. At Kale and Caulifla still need to Easy A. We good. They didn't dodge. We good. Oh, that heal from Vados. It wasn't much, but it was something. I forgot that Vados recovers 40% HP. Again, it's not much, but it's something, right? There's 2 group attacks in slot 1. Basically, Kefla needs to dodge, Vados needs to dodge, otherwise we're dead. As I said, is this category perfect? No. But it's competitive. If it's runnable, if certain things went our way, if certain super attacks didn't happen, or we didn't need to use an item here or there, we would probably finish this run without too many problems. If you don't dodge, we're dead. However, the category's still good. However, I don't think you could run them against Fusion Zamasu. Just because there's too much damage too early on. Kale doesn't have her guard till she transforms. These guys would need to stack. You're relying on dodge too much of a lot of units. Kale and Caulifla, Vados. Guard on her's good. It would help out, but again, she needs to stack a bit. Kefla would kind of need to dodge with the AoEs as well. Second phase, I think, would be a lot easier for a lot of these units, but you have to get there first. But regardless, as I said, Universe 6 is a competitive category now. It's now runnable. You can actually use this team and all of these EZAs, and they will do a decent job. Just, you know, still showing that the category still has its flaws, still has its issues. Units can still be caught, things like that, but it's now a pretty good category. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and peace.